There it is.
You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt Godwin. You may know by that music what time it is. It is time for What the Tech with Brad Rambur, cybersecurity expert. Welcome back to America Trends.
It's also time for a little overbite.
That's right.
In the head.
There you go. What the Tech with Brad Rambur.
Yep.
This is our cybersecurity expert. And I think about this segment frequently throughout the week because I look at headlines and I have to, put a pin in them and save them for Brad because there's so many things that come up and I think I need him to explain this to me.
Out in TV land, we call that Mary getting on the roller coaster.
That's right, on the roller coaster. There's a couple topics that put me on the roller coaster. So the very first one is not really cybersecurity related, but we do talk a lot on this show.
It is.
It is. Okay,
Sure.
well, you're going to explain that to us. The Chinese spy balloon, trending topic right now.
Well, if I were a member of the Chinese Communist Party, I would tell you that it's not a spy balloon, it's a weather balloon.
Okay.
It's traveling errantly.
Errantly. Okay. So tell me what happened. What's going on? And where was it shot down? And should it have been shot down earlier? And was it dangerous? And is it a spy balloon? I need to know because, if we go on the web, depending on where you read, you're going to hear all sorts of different stories. I would like to hear Brad's take on this.
So we have our own weather organization, the NOAA, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration.
Okay.
You ever heard a story about an American weather balloon being the size of 3 coach buses? Then why does anybody else need one that big?
Okay.
Yeah.
What is a weather balloon anyway?
So as a pilot. Is anybody at 30,000 feet right over a particular spot measuring the wind for you so you can plan your flight? No. They send up weather balloons and they go, where's this thing blowing? We can track it with GPS.
Okay.
And then they build large statistical models that they give us pilots when you're looking for where you're going to be traveling. Am I going to be dealing with wind shear, freezing levels, what's going on over the mountains? Is the jet stream moved? Do I need more fuel because I'm facing a headwind? All that stuff has to go into the plan. So weather balloons are everywhere.
Okay.
We use them all the time.
Constantly everywhere. That's what makes our aviation system work.
And none of them, to my knowledge, are the size of 3 motorhomes.
And that's how big this Chinese weather balloon.
Payload of 2,000 pounds. The balloon was 200 feet high, and it took up the space of a regional jetliner, was what I read.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where was it when it was shot down? Do you know?
Oh, yeah, it was over just off the coast of South Carolina.
Okay. And so some sources were saying, probably Twitter. I don't know where I was reading this, but people were saying, we should have shot it down sooner.
Yeah, Ryan Zinke said it on Twitter.
Should we? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so here's the thing.
We're not the end-all, be-all judgment on this,
as big as this is, and as far up as it was, at 65,000 feet where it was hanging out, you hit it, and it's got that many pieces, the debris field's going to be miles wide, so you can't control what it's going to hit. I read an article as a youngster about, all the big airplanes have lavatories on them, bathrooms, about a frozen chunk of bathroom remnant flying through the roof of a house in Tacoma, Washington, and going through the roof, going through the ceiling, and going through the floor.
Okay.
It's a frozen chunk of stuff.
It freezes through the...
That is just the
I always
physics
wonder what happens to that, to be honest. We need to do a whole segment on that.
There's another block to deal with that block of blue stuff, we'll call it, right? But yeah, so the physics of something going that fast, it's a meteorite, right? So 60,000 feet is, let's see, that's 12 miles in the air? Okay, that's a lot of time to accelerate. You've got a metal object that weighs pounds, tens of pounds, hundreds of pounds. That's a big thing ripping towards Earth. And if you don't know where it's going to land, you probably ought to not do that where people are running around.
So was it over the oceans?
Yes.
And so nobody was injured, right?
Here's how precisely that happened. They hit that thing and all the stuff landed in 47 feet of water. Properly trained, you can dive that without any scuba gear. Okay? So they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly when they were going to do it, and they knew exactly why they were going to go out there and get it. And they're fishing all the cool parts off the bottom of the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's happening now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Remember that once it hit Montana, it's in U.S. airspace. Again, let's watch it. So what do you think we're going to do? Why don't we fly some planes around it and really look at it closely and maybe try to jam its communications and kind of figure out what it's up to? Now, you heard these reports. As this thing is flying over the United States,
I didn't hear those reports. You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it was already, it went over the United States and got, okay. So I was thinking it didn't get it. We shut it down before it crossed. It crossed the whole United States.
It hit the Aleutians and then stayed over water, and then it hit Canada. And then it floated down from Canada into Montana, which is interesting because it was floating near where there are a bunch of missile silos. They found propellers on the thing and big solar panels. So it can direct its path of travel to a significant extent.
Okay.
Also found another one going over South America. So if they're trying to circumnavigate with weather balloons, the thing is that thing is bound to intersect someone's sovereign airspace. Do you think you want to tell them that's what's going on? Do you think you want to obtain clearance for when it's going into that airspace so other airplanes can
If it's
go
not
around
something secret.
If you were doing this all above board,
Right.
you tell people, hey, this thing's coming, keep an eye out for it.
Right.
Or you go, hey, we want to do this. This is what could possibly happen. Are we good? Do we have permission? What do you think the answer would have been? Hell no.
No.
Right?
Right. Which is why they
Yeah.
didn't ask for permission.
So believe it or not, political standings what are that the right thing was done at every turn. Oh, it's here. Cool. Have we seen this before? Yeah, we have. Has it ever been this egregious? No. Well, let's figure out what it's up to. We have all sorts of assets we can poke and prod electronically, visually, and otherwise to make those assessments. We're watching where it's going. Oh, by the way, it looks like it's going here. Why? Because we track the wind, because we have our own weather balloons.
Yes.
We're going to close up all the facilities that it thinks it can take pictures of so they can't gather any meaningful intelligence.
Okay, so that stuff was done.
Oh, yeah.
That's just not what was
And the minute
available to me to read.
the minute it was not going to pose a danger to someone to splash that, there was a very happy pilot in his F-22 who got to go to the carnival and shoot balloons with a BB gun.
Yeah.
Pop. People were watching it, apparently.
Wow.
It was
okay.
pretty
I mean, there's all sorts of funny memes that have been born out of this. You know, with the box of Chinese food coming down. I think
I've gotten that one twice
that,
so far. I ordered Chinese
or
food.
Lance maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, well this is a good segue into the fact that another article has come up into my feed recently to delete TikTok. And I think this was a UK publication. You sent this to me because you know my daughters are on TikTok and I have it. I don't really use it except to stalk them a little bit.
But is it using your phone and your data and your whereabouts?
No, I think I have it turned off to.
You think you have it turned off?
I think I have it turned
Okay.
off.
I think
We should check.
that was a little Austin Powers-ish.
Okay.
Okay.
So, in this article, it said, our data is a key vulnerability and China is building a totalitarian state on the back of our data. So we have to get far more serious about protecting ourselves. Now, this was from somebody in Parliament that was stating this in UK and was like, no, I'm very serious. We need to start deleting this ASAP. So when do you think, or do you think these sorts of things are going to come down? It's been talked about here in the United States. I know we've mentioned it, but
states and municipalities and educational institutions are denying the ability to connect to it on their networks.
okay.
Yeah,
God,
it's already happening.
I think I've even asked you this before, but in my mind, when I think, okay, the kids are just watching these silly dance videos and there's not really, it seems so harmless.
But where are they filming them? In their homes. They can tell where they are, when they are.
Right.
there.
So talk to me about that. What's the next level?
There are organizations that gather information. They don't even know where they put it. And they go, well, we might find it valuable later.
Someday.
Sure. What do you think any organization that wants to know more about their enemy is going to do? Gather intelligence. So it might not be relevant now, but combined with another piece of information, it could become a lot more relevant.
And I feel like I was reading stories about information was being found out about journalists that had relations with important people, and then they were putting two and two together and finding people through their location services.
Sure.
On this device, because it can track. I mean, Snapchat does this too, but that's not owned by China.
Well, there was the guy that worked at Twitter who was identifying, I think, whereabouts or people that were making disparaging remarks against the Saudi government. And that individual was indicted and I think is serving time.
And they found his location through.
No.
Or no, they
he was feeding information about Twitter authors.
Got it.
Tweeters.
Tweeters, yes.
That were making disparaging remarks about the Saudi government, so those individuals were targeted.
Got it.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff matters a lot.
Right. And it's not just TikTok that's owned by the Chinese. It's
No.
I mean, because Twitter is not, but
no, but there are all sorts of stuff that there is kind of a line. Like Google got out of China, I think 10 or 12 years ago. So they have their own version thereof, right? Because they didn't want Google gathering all of their data.
they didn't, right?
Yeah. So what is TikTok? It's okay. Well, this is entertainment. It's for fun. It's not a big deal. Well, what is it really gathering about you? What have you agreed to, and what can it pull from your phone, with or without your permission?
So this article was saying we're taking steps like storing UK user data in our data center operations in Ireland starting this year, further reducing employee access to data and minimizing data flows outside of Europe. This was a spokesperson from TikTok, but again, what are you going to do? So no on TikTok is what Brad says. Is that correct?
Talk no.
Talk no. Talk no. I love it. We've got more questions for you. We stick around for another segment, Mr.
Sure.
Brad Rambur.
Yes, ma'am,
We've got some phishing scams and how to help keep your business away from cyber breaches. We're going to talk about that right after this break. What the Tech with Brad Rambur. This is America Trends. You're watching us here on BizTV.com, and you can find us on social media at America Trends TV on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.